Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, Sister Rue? There we go. I don't realize how loud it is until I start talking and then I can't hear myself talk. How was your day? My freaking hair. What is up with my hair today? Well, if I read the chapter that has the sexy scene in it, it's going to be a short night. If I start at the beginning and read 45 minutes, you'll get me to read longer. And there won't be a sex scene. So, but I know how you horny bitches are. My hair looks better when it's pulled back off my face. I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do with my hair. Oh, Nate, just leave it alone. Let the boss man know I was live. Hey, Pebbles, how are you, darling? Whew, that was a sneeze. I just got, I just got the funniest. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. So I just text I just text Aaron see to let him know I was live, and he says I'm hard with all these exclamation points. Mhm. Hey Serena, and I went what? What? And he says, "LOL, joking, hun. I get excited when you read me." Ah! Oh my gosh, it just caught me off guard. Vincy, how's the music? Oh Lord. Thank you, Miss Pebbles. You guys are so fun. I just love you guys. My curls coming out. Now, this is what happens when you let your hair dry naturally with no product on it. It just kind of does its own thing. I got this one curl here. I'm not even sure it knows where it needs to go. This is what it's like working from home. You don't have to fix your hair. Then you remember at 5 minutes to time to read, oh crap, I'm going to be live. Started to put a hat on, but I didn't want to get back up. My hair is anything but straight. The shorter it gets, the straighter it gets. But yeah, it's anything but straight. I gotta put my color on it. This is my color. Where's the... Yeah. There it is. Fuchsia cha. Cha cha cha. Fuchsia cha. No, you're beautiful, Miss Pebbles. There's no... Well, hello there. No, actually, I've misplaced it lately. J-Lo? I had my 4-year-old nephew in here, and I've kind of put some things up, and I don't know where I put them all. So, no, the dildo hasn't been passed around yet. Sorry. Hi, Neener Beaner. How are you, my darling? Ooh. 3 more minutes and we'll jump on and start reading. So, Boss Man says he wants me to read chapter 32. He wants me to start in the middle, but I'm not. I'm going to start at the beginning of chapter 32. And it's the last chapter of the book before the epilogue. It doesn't really give a lot away. You still need to read the whole book to get all the concept down and the action and stuff. But apparently I have a bunch of horn dogs on here, and I'm supposed to read the sex scene. So I'm going to read the sex scene. Yeah, Serena, he's kind of like that. I think he wants me to just jump all over him. I'm starting to think that's the way he thinks. I should tell him that. Hold on. I know you're at work. Yeah. You guys make horn dogs look tame, don't you, Miss Pebbles? Oh, Joe, no. You're so innocent, Miss Pebbles. Just so innocent. You and your little she-wolf Ori, a.k.a. Neener Beaner, a.k.a. Nina. If you are having a hard time finding, whoops, wrong one. If you're having a hard time finding the chat, just tap on my head and there's the chat. If you are reading from your phone or if you're watching from your phone. If you're watching from the computer, I have no idea. Dingleberry Aaron, tap on my head. He's trying to get on. Somebody's going to have to hold his hand and tell him how to get there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This one's called Nightwalker. It's the first book in the Undeadly. What is it called? The Undeadly Secrets, book 1. So I'm going to read chapter 32. And if somebody can help Boss Man how to get in the chat, he's having issues. So, all right, I'm going to take my glasses off. So, no, I'm going to contacts in now. 32. What are you doing New Year's Eve? And by the way, this is a vampire book, in case you guys didn't know. Have you fed from him yet? Michelle asked, sipping her tea in the morning light. Several days had gone by quietly, but there was an uncomfortable feeling lingering. No, Alex said tentatively, hoping to engage Michelle in conversation. Here I am, really freaking out about it, and he doesn't even mention it. In fact, I can tell he doesn't want to talk about it at all. But I'm going crazy. In fact, see, Michelle pursed her lips, and Alex winced. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know being ripped away from something you love, something that makes you happy, it's awful. And here I am going on about this. It's okay. I don't blame you. He misses you, you know. I can tell because he doesn't talk about you either. It's like I have these huge shoes to fill, and I'm afraid I'm going to be terrible for him. I know where you're coming from. It's like most things, though. Once you get that first time out of the way, Michelle tapered off and gave a shrug. Alex grew concerned. I'd understand if you're upset with me. Michelle shook her head. No, that's not it. Not at all. She looked hard at Alex and sighed. Okay, look, I admit I am a little jealous. I wanted to be Dante's for as long as I could. The years I had with him were wonderful. But I'm not naive. I knew it wouldn't last forever. And if it weren't for you, he would probably be dead. So would I. You have a you've been a great friend to the both of us. Me especially. If it has to be someone to take my place, I'm glad it's you. Thanks, Alex said, relieved. But you still don't want to see him? Michelle's brows furrowed. Eventually I will, but not yet. It is still a little too raw, and I miss him too much. But I'll be okay. I just really don't know what I'm going to do with myself at this point. I've put out resumes at a number of different places, so we'll see what happens. Though none of them feel like anything I could build a career around, you know? Oh, here's some news. I'm going on a date tonight. Oh, really? Good for you. Hey, Miss Shirley. What are your plans? Michelle asked. Alex just repositioned nervously, running a hand up her leg to her pocket, just feeling the keys Dante had given her to his penthouse. Tonight would be the first night she would step foot into it. I guess I'm going to try to make him feed, Alex replied with a shrug, careful not to divulge too much. He's not going to be fully healthy without it. Whatever happens, I want you to know I won't be half the woman you are. Your strength is an inspiration to me. Oh, please. Michelle laughed Michelle, poking Alex in the arm. Let's leave off with the melodrama, okay? We're good. Seriously. Back to the usual then. Silly friends. Absolutely. Best friends, Michelle insisted. But now I really must get ready. Got to get ready to hit the bricks and see if I can find more job opportunities out there. The girls hugged and went their separate ways for the day. Y'all gonna have to excuse me. I've had sinus issues. My ears are popping, and I got drainage down the back of my throat. So if I start coughing and gagging, you'll know what's going on. Michelle closed her bedroom door and sat down on her bed. She counted to 10 and then reached into her bedside drawer, lifting out a solid gold necklace with a heart-shaped ruby. A birthday gift from Dante. Oh, he made it! Hey, 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 hey! She had never worn it, but not because she didn't love it. Quite the opposite. It was more because of its value. She'd had it estimated at over $500,000. Right now, though, holding it in her hand, she didn't think of the money he paid. She clenched it, picturing only his face. You were my strength, she whispered to the darkness before she lay down, curling up on her side and weeping. Alex tried to remain calm, but her shaky feet betrayed her. Her scalp itched as the tightness of her ponytail irritated. Her scalp itched as the tightness of her ponytail irritated her. Every step she took brought her closer to Dante's front door, and she felt like she could topple over at any moment. How was it possible for someone to be nervous, excited, and terrified all at the same time? Would she just have to turn her face, expose her neck to him? Would he kiss her first? Alex hadn't spoken to Dante about tonight, about what it entailed, just that it was going to be the night. She didn't ask him any questions, and he didn't probe for them. Perhaps he knew Michelle had spoken to her and thought she would have all the information necessary. Alex had said she was ready. She believed she was ready until about 30 seconds ago. Alex knocked on the white door and found it ajar, the space behind it quite dark. No lights were on inside, and she held her breath as she stepped into the foyer. She called out, but there was no reply. She carefully moved through the hallway, past closed doorways, haunting shadows thrown by strange sculptures, darkened paintings she couldn't make out, before she came to a frosted glass door, and behind it, a flickering golden light, a golden glow. Alex reached out her hand and the door opened. A second later, her breath caught in her throat. Alex stood just inside a large, white, tiled room. The ceiling loomed above at least 12 feet high and was lined with corner to corner from corner to corner with lit candles, the only light source. She could smell lavender and something else. In the center of the room was what looked like an in-ground wading pool, steam rising from the still water. The surface was strewn with rose petals. Roses. That's the other thing I can smell. Beside the pool, Dante stood quietly, dressed in an ankle-length silk robe the color of red grapes, tied loosely under his bare stomach, holding what looked like an old-style teapot in one hand. Next to him was a gleaming silver tray on a tall, narrow table. On it sat a single teacup and two ceramic ramekins. Alex didn't know what to say. This was all new for her. Oh, this was all for her. Dante placed a finger to his lips and indicated the pool with his hand. She kicked off her shoes rather gingerly, let her purse drop to the floor, and moved forward. She stopped at the head of the pool and looked uncertainly at Dante. Welcome, he said, pinching some of the contents of both ceramic containers into the teacup. As he poured the water from the teapot into the cup, whatever it was inside bubbled and frothed, letting a smoke like steam escape. I must apologize. I thought this would be ready by the time you got here. It's tea? What kind? Something to help you with any nerves, Dante replied. Oh, Alex said. I'll need more than tea. I thought it might be something to, I don't know, make me taste better. I've always wondered that about you, Dante said, walking slowly over to her, cup in hand. Wonder what? What I taste like? Alex stammered. Dante pulled on the robe cord gently with his free hand, and Alex gulped. If Dante was getting naked, did he expect her to follow suit? Oh, God, she thought. I'm not ready for this. Shit. Okay, maybe I'll go topless if I have to, but that's it. But just as soon as the thought came, Alex dismissed it as childish. Dante wouldn't make her do anything she wasn't comfortable with. The tea, the candles, and the roses were to help relax her. He would ease her into this. This was a big deal, a huge deal to Dante and to her. She didn't have to do anything. Yes, he replied, untying it completely. He offered the tea to her and waited. Alex looked into the dark liquid, thinking she could smell a hint of licorice. Weird. She gulped the spicy but not at all unpleasant concoction, and returned the empty cup back to Dante, who took it and moved behind her. Women of true beauty taste immaculate, he finished, as Alex heard the light swish of the robe and cup being placed on the floor. Alex wanted to turn toward him, but kept her face forward as she let his words wash over her. Did you just call me beautiful? Every boyfriend she'd ever had, even Matt, had only ever called her hot. Thank you, Miss Vicky. As an answer, Dante placed his strong arms around her, hands on her belly. You shouldn't need to be told, he said, placing his nose against her hair and inhaling. But yes. Alex almost got tears in her eyes, which embarrassed her. Why was it that she got so emotional at that simple sentence? But he sounded sincere. And it felt good to hear. Did he mean it? Or was it just like other guys, saying sweet nothings just to get to what he wanted? Dante turned her around gently and ran his thumb across the top of her cheek. Alexandra. Wait, Alex started. Before you say anything, I just have to get this out. You know I'm not Melina, right? Dante looked confused. I don't understand. Of course I know that. And you know I'm not Michelle either. Well, there it is said. I said it. I can't be who she was. You guys had something amazing, and I don't know if I'll ever get to that stage with you. I'm scared. Michelle will find her happiness, he said, holding her a little tighter and brushing her hair with the tips of the fingers he'd used to touch her face. I can wish things were different, but they are as they are. You do not have to be her. Alex could feel the tightness of her joints easing with every word he spoke. It may be the tea, but Alex could hear the truth in his voice mixed with the desire she saw in his eyes. Desire for her body or blood, she wasn't sure, but she trusted it. And damn it, she wanted it. I don't want to disappoint you. Dante leaned in and gently brushed her lips with his own. The slight contact sent a tingle over her mouth, and she found her fingers scraping his obliques as she reached for another kiss, this time deeper. In case you don't remember what the obliques are, that's the V. Dante curled his fingers under her thin jumper and pulled it over her head. Her cotton t shirt was discarded just as easily. Alex bit her bottom lip as Dante ran the palms of his hands along her shoulders, pressing himself closer to her, and she shivered as his icy mouth pressed against the skin at the nape of her neck. If it's too much, stop me, Dante murmured, kissing her as he spoke, snapping the clip of her bra with a casual click of his fingers. Topless, that's it. He could still feed without me being mortified. Alex reached to touch him, the cold, hard muscle of his chest, as his mouth returned to hers. Alex couldn't help but sneak a peek at what Dante was sporting between his legs. She wasn't surprised at it being uncircumcised, but she was surprised that it looked normal. A tidy tuft of dark hair above a penis that hung a good inch lower than his smooth testicles. Alex realized that he may be a vampire, but standing there in front of her was a man, first and foremost, naked and trusting of her to accept him for what he was. All of him. Nothing more, nothing less. With that in mind, Alex felt she could give him the same trust. She didn't care anymore what he thought of her body because she knew he didn't care what she thought of his. They were being themselves. Alex reached lower, taking him into her hand. Dante flicked the cup of her bra up from underneath, tossing it aside as he kneaded her breast to the same rhythm she continued to touch him. She caressed the thickness and length of him, gently squeezing the soft skin. She wanted to feel it hard and strong, to know what it felt like being eased into her while looking into his eyes. But there was only one way to find out. Aaron, is that how you felt when I texted you a while ago? Were you hard and strong? I think that's what you said. Just kidding. Miss Speer, do not kill me. Alex leant her head back and turned her face. Do it, she breathed. Dante moved her hand gently away from his groin, and placed it where her jeans buttoned. He wanted them off. Alex nervously clasped the button, her sweaty hands making heavy work of a simple jaw movement. She finally released the zipper, and Dante stopped her hands from moving any further. Instead, he turned her around and slid his fingers and palms down her waist and slipped them under her panties. He lowered himself into a crouch and took everything with him as he went. Alex stepped out of her jeans and Dante pushed her forward so that her hands rested on the edge of the pool, her rear in full view in front of his face. And those lips, which he proceeded to use on her once again. First, the backs of her knees, then her thighs, to her cheeks, and finally a flick of his tongue brought a shocked gasp. then another. Dante was not licking in the usual place. That tongue was going everywhere. I like that sound. I like Miss Spear now. He sucked gently on her clit before slowly swirling his tongue along her entrance all the way up to her back passage. She tried to ask what he was doing, but the words wouldn't come. Without thinking, she began moving her hips up and down as he continued to dart and lap at her without any pause. With every movement pressing deeper inside with his strong tongue, he sent bursts of pleasure through her, each one seeming to hit a little deeper. Alex let out a moan as Dante pressed his fore, middle, and ring fingers together and casually ran them over the length of her clit, smothering them all in her juices. He dipped the first two in, just the tips, as he curled them into her. His knuckles pressed against her as his fingertips continued to work their magic. Alex pinched her nipples with a hand she didn't rest on the edge of the pool as Dante finally moved all three soaking fingers into her. Alex felt what must have been a deliberate and consistent tremble in Dante's arm, causing his fingers to quake like a vibrator, the skin cooling her flaming insides. His tongue resumed its assault on her already tight, tingly arse as she felt his chin and cheeks become slippery with her overwhelming appreciation. With a final kiss and nibble on her cheek, Dante lifted her into his arms, walking with her into the shallow pool. As his feet dipped, a stream of what looked like rain cascaded down from the ceiling shower head, silent except for the trickle as they hit the surface. Dante moved to the middle of the mini waterfall as Alex repositioned herself to straddle him as he held her. She planted soft kisses along his cheek and mumbled, "Please stop teasing me. You're driving me crazy." Alex moved her drenched hair away from the side of her neck and leaned in closer and looked directly into Dante's eyes. "Alexander Louise Hensley, do you swear to give yourself to me completely?" "Of course I do. I'm yours." Dante lowered his fangs so fast, Alex wasn't sure if he had meant to be so swift or if it was involuntary. Alex closed her eyes and let out a sharp yelp. After a dull crunching sound, Dante pierced her neck as easily as a skewer went through a cake. Alex ran her hands over his chest and shoulders, using her nails to grip his soaked skin, digging in harder as the pain of the bite intensified. Dante released his bite, letting her fall slowly back, and held her on the surface of the water, the warm rain cascading down lightly on both of them. Floating, yet still in his arms with her legs on either side of his waist, he looked at her and licked his dripping lips, catching more of her blood into his mouth. She thought she heard him moan in appreciation, as did she when she felt the head of his cock nudging against her. Finally, her blood had worked on him. He was hard, thick, and pulsing with warmth. Alex let go and let him take control, rocking her back in a silent stream of gasp as their pelvic bones struck over and over. Her head pounded in a race with her heart. His hands gripped her thighs, holding her firmly as her legs shook. Dante brought her into him with such force her breasts flicked her with droplets of the blood still seeping down her chest. Alex bucked her hips to match his rhythm, scraped some of the blood from her chest, and brought her fingers down. Dante's eyes darted from hers to watch her play with herself as she stared at his chest and stomach, glistening from the water and candlelight, and the muscles contracting with the effort of making love to her gave Alex a sense of erotic power. Dante leaned over, placed his bloodied tongue into her eager mouth, and she hungrily accepted his kiss. Tasting herself on Dante's lips brought Alex over the edge as what looked like little flares went off behind her eyes before the room was plunged into darkness. What y'all think? Hmm? That's the end of the chapter. What y'all think? Was it hot? Oh my gosh, y'all. It was very good. Then Nina, you need to go get the book. It's free on KU, by the way, and read it so that you can get some more. It's sexy. Speaking of the purr, Miss Vincy, you guys know I had my 4-year-old nephew weekend before last. And yeah, weekend before last. And we were playing animals or cats or something, and I growled and purred at him. And he says, I could do that. Watch this. And he took his juice and he went, and he like made a growling. He gargled and I was like, where did you learn to do that? He said, Miss Misty told us that she told us how to do it, but not to tell anybody we knew how. That's his pre-K. It's his daycare teacher. Ooh. Well, I was glancing through the epilogue and I got to the very last page and I saw the word lichen and my heart went, I love werewolves. So I'm going to have to read this one so I can read the next one. I think the book could be, you guys need to go get the book. It's not a super long book. Let's see. Says takes 6 hours basically to read, 270 pages. I dragged it out a little bit longer. I could have read a little bit faster, but I was trying to make it last. So, where'd Boss Man go? He jumped on and left, didn't he? Serena, I was good with whatever, but he wanted this scene because he thinks we're all a bunch of sex addicts on here. I don't know where he gets that idea at. Yeah, that's the V. Also called the V penis suspenders. Mm. All right, everybody. I need you to come back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's book. I can't remember the name of it. I have it. But I'm horrible at remembering book names. I'm sorry, Serena. I didn't pick it. All right. Tomorrow's night's book is The Witch's Complimentary Compliments by Lucille Yates. Oh, snap. And I'm going to like me some Lee. Yeah, I'll have to read this and yeah, I think I might like Lee better. I love me a smart mouth. All right, everybody. Come back tomorrow night. We'll read about witches. See what kind of trouble we can get into tomorrow night. But definitely go get this one. It's called Nightwalker by Aaron L. Speer. And it is free on KU. And I don't know, $2 or $3, $4, something like that. Whatever. You guys can just read it. Thank you, everybody. And have a great evening. Happy reading.